Welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314. This is your brother, Piankhi Nefer Ra. And we're back with another powerful show with Captain 10K of ISUPK. Before we jump into this, though, let me do my usual greeting. Let me say hotep to my fellow Kemetic brothers and sisters. Let me say shalom to my Hebrew brothers and sisters. Let me say Islam to my brothers and sisters in the NOI. Let me say, let me say Islam to my Moorish brothers and sisters. Let me say Assalamu alaikum to my brothers and sisters in the NOI. Let me say God bless to my Christian brothers and sisters. And let me say peace to the gods in the 5% nation. And let me say Jumbo to the rest of my brothers and sisters throughout the African diaspora. Y'all know why I say that. I say it because if you're black, I'm with you. And I hope that you're with me. Our different ideologies shouldn't keep us from uniting. We can have unity without uniformity, and we can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable. And so with that, we back at it again. I got Cap 10K of ISUPK. We're gonna jump right into it, Cap. So we got an individual, a character by the name of Vocab Malone, who has taken it up on himself as a European, a man of European descent, to insinuate himself into the affairs of black people, what black people believe in, and what black people believe about themselves. In other words, whether it's Kemet, whether it's the Hebrew Israelite movement, whether it's the 5% nation, the Nation of Islam, the Moors, he insinuates himself into these situations and feels it's his job to critique what we do as a European. He has taken a particular interest and calls himself an expert on Hebrew Israelites. What do you think of this individual feeling it's his obligation to get in our business?
Well, he is the devil the Bible speaks of, you know what I mean? And I'm not shocked at all by his actions, and by the things that he says and does. If you think back and do a little research, and I'm not talking about you, I'm just saying in general for the people listening, if they would ever research how our people became Christians, it was by force. You know what I mean? They were what's that movie? I'm gonna get you sucker. When they say what you want, the window or the stairs? You know what I'm saying? And our people was put in a position where you just had to, you would live falling down some stairs. You know what I'm saying? a few flights, a few steps. But that window, you knew you was gonna die. And our people were so damn scared to where they said, you know what, we choose to live. So he's doing the same thing, as they were doing then. He is, saying his ancestors. He descends from, the devil. You understand? More devils. And this dude here, he knows that black people are destroyed to a point to where you can tell us anything, because we've made these people our God. You understand? When people see Vocab Malone, they see white Jesus. They don't see like what we see in the ISUPK. We know not to trust those people. We know not to join hands with them. But more importantly, not just because we know, but because it's in the Bible. The Christian church has a song, "Yes, Jesus loves me because the Bible tells me so." The Bible tells you a lot of things that the Christians do not apply at all. You know what I'm saying? They don't apply anything that Jesus has said, And Christ definitely said to get away from the oppressor and come together with your own people, But us in the church, we keep flocking to this guy as if, think it was a name on the boxing book, the Great White Hope. You understand what I'm saying? That's every black person when they look at white people. They're the Great White Hope, especially if they have some type, political stands, or same way they did Donald Trump, and now Joe Biden, and all of the other politicians before them. You know, we turn around and put all of our faith, our hope, our trust in these people when the scripture has said over and over and over again that we cannot trust them, and that we're going to a nation of people that cannot save us. I mean, look at how many presidents there has been already, and our situation has gotten worse. It hasn't gotten better, And Vocab Malone, he just knows that we are people that you can get right over on. You know what I mean? You sell us a dream, and then it's over with from there. That's why so many people had joined his group. He ended up putting the very black people that joined the group out. You understand? And that was so crazy to me, is because now these people that he joined forces with was coming up against other brothers. They was going up against, in particular, the Israelites, right? Well, Vocab Malone got checked and stopped dead in his tracks when he came to the ISUPK, and I believe Captain Tazariak is about to do a debate with him, so I'll have to look for that. But I believe he did say that he was going to finally debate the guy. But it's a shame that those people that came together with the oppressor, joined forces to help destroy other brothers. That's ridiculous. Even though whatever religion you in, Christianity, you could be a Christian, and I would never join Vocab Malone to come up against other Christians. You could be a Muslim, and I would never join whatever devil. You understand? It don't matter which one it is. I would never join them to come up against you. Now, even though my people are not supposed to be in their religion, whichever one they choose, but I would never join my oppressor to try to come up against my own people, and that's something that Vocab has, he know from way back that they were doing. They pitched us against each other, light skin, dark skin. When I see you, I just see a brother. I don't trip off how light you are. You know what I'm saying? When I see my sisters, I don't trip off how dark they are, or their skin complexion. It's about the bloodline to us. We're not caught up on light skin, dark skin. And like I said, as long as you're an Israelite, then you good to go. But here's the thing. Like I said, if our people that's in those other religions, I would never join the oppressor to come up against them. And that's the difference between us and the ISUPK versus those that are in other Christian organizations, other groups, because they'll do that. You know what I mean? Because they think number one is going to be a big payout. When look at the benefit of joining the oppressor. Look at what it was. You're not even in his group anymore. You're not even in the group.
Why? Let me ask you this, Cap.
Go ahead.
Why do you think so many black people have sort of, for lack of a better term, flock to this individual? When you see brothers like G-Con, you see brothers like Adam Coleman, MJ Jackson, different individuals like that, BK apologists, who are solid brothers, but it seemed like it's okay with them for this brother to come and critique and cast aspersions on what other black people are doing. Is it that the belief in Christianity supersedes your your loyalty to your race, or is it just that something deeper when it comes to taking the side of the Europeans, if you follow?
I got you. Here's the thing. Those brothers are not solid. You get my point? Because if they were, they would not join the oppressor. You see what I'm saying? So that's the number one thing. Is if you solid, if you solid, you would definitely be in the ISUPK, right? But then if they were solid brothers, you just say they had just a little bit of knowledge, they would not join the oppressor for no reason at all. Because just think about the different soldiers back in what was that movie they made after the victory? You know what I mean? I believe with Denzel.
Right, right.
Yeah. What did they do with them soldiers, man, after they fought that war for our oppressor? He murdered them all. You see what I'm saying? And you think about the brothers that you mentioned that were so-called solid, and now they're not in that group anymore. He basically, white man, basically destroyed and murdered their career. You understand? They may have been, looking kind of on the bright side of whatever they may have been doing, but he destroyed them. And one in particular, I know he did because man, he sounded as if he was going to cry. You understand? The brother G man, he ended up calling uh, across the line, with Captain Cesario and Captain
The
Gatazai.
the
And
gay brother, right? I
huh?
mean, never mind.
The one that people say that he has a lot of feminine tendencies. They say he's gay. You understand? I don't know that part. You understand? So I wouldn't speak on it because I don't know much about the brother. You understand? Other than what I seen him start doing, and then on his own, and then when I saw him join um vocab, that's and then I saw his career rise and fall. You understand, at the hands of our oppressor. So but as far as what I'm saying, his actual lifestyle, I don't personally know that. What I'm saying, but I do know a lot of people do call him a homosexual because of how he act and how he talk. You know, but yeah, but that's one that turned around, and man, he seemed like he was heartbroken. And what I have noticed, and I'm gonna share a story with you to show you what I'm talking about. What I have noticed is that everyone that tries to come up against the ISUPK and side with white people, saying to side with the oppressor, they end up doing something to them at the, at the something happens to them at the hands of the very people that they try to join, right? At one of my contracts, there's a brother that he would listen in to our conference calls, classes, all of that, you know. And the brother, he was a cool brother, man, truck driver and stuff like that. And he was all right. And one day when I come in, he was standing there talking to one of the managers, right? And no, I take that back. Okay, this is what he said. This was before this day. He came to me. He told me. He say, man. He said, I know that when it comes to white people, you got a different opinion about them. But man, if it wasn't for white Jesus, man, I'll be the fuck them up. That's what he said. And I said, brother, what you talking about? And he was saying how they messed up his money, right? And I said, brother, I said, really? I said, you really scared of white people? He said, what you mean, man? This is me. Oh, you know me, man. I ain't scared of nobody. I said, no, you are. You understand? You're scared of them, and those people are your God. Hey, oh man, I can't believe you said that about me, bro, and this and that. I said, man, listen. I said, you don't think that I've ever had a problem with your boss because I don't work for the company. I work for myself. I said, I've had a problem with your boss too. I said they messed up my money several times, but you know what I did? I went in there, I told him, and he fixed it. You know what I'm saying? There's no believing in white Jesus or uh, uh whatever you want to believe in. That has nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? That has everything to do with business. So if you conduct business why does it have to be, well, because I believe in white Jesus, man? If it wasn't for that, you know what I'm saying?
So
I fucked
so
them up.
he was straight
So
up putting the emphasis on white Jesus. Huh?
he put emphasis. These were the words out of his mouth, right? He
Wow.
put emphasis on it. This is what he said out of the clear blue, right? So then after that, there was um this situation here to where um they had been reporting him for some odd reason, whatever, you know what I'm saying? They was, basically trying to get rid of the brother, right? And he was standing there talking to the oppressor. I come in, I said, "What's up, man?" You know, and me and him, you know how brothers talk back and forth, He like, "Oh, what's up, my man?" I'm like, "Nah, you the man, bro." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "Hey, you be doing your thing around this job, man, getting them trucks, getting them trailers in and out of here, dropping off loads. You the man, dog." We you know how brothers talk. You know what I'm saying? So we talking like that back and forth to each other. So then um I go and about I say about and uh a few minutes later he turned around, he's still there with the oppressor. And he said, "Man, all I know is Jesus is my Lord and Savior." And what he said. So I said, "Oh man." So I put my head down on that one because I don't even want to talk about no white Jesus. I ain't want the devil to think I was on the same page. I'm into white Jesus too. You know what I'm saying? Because I was talking to the brother. So about an hour and something go past. I'm leaving. The brother is outside at the truck, damn near in tears, cleaning it out. I said, "What's going on, bro?" He said, "Man, you ain't gonna believe this shit. These motherfuckers just fired me. Man, I do the best work. I do this. I do that. Man, I'm here on time. I'm this." See, he was heartbroken. But see, that's what happened. You understand? When you turn around and you put all your faith and your hope and your love and your trust in them, they don't feel the same way about you. You are naked. You understand? And you are a truck driver. You go drive them goddamn trucks and shut your mouth. That's how they feel about you. You understand? They don't give a damn about no Jesus is your Lord and your Savior. They know that all you doing is sucking up to them.
Hey,
You see what
bro,
I'm saying?
it's funny
They
you said that because I'm gonna share this with you, and then we're gonna get to our brother officer slice him up, cut him up, Officer Cabal. Um, welcome to the show, bro. But my wife worked for a well-known company in our city, and she moving up the ladder. She done got her degree,
Mhm.
bachelor's, master's, etc. Won an award, Woman of the Year, and we went
Mm.
up to Detroit. All of that. Had a business account. I think it was like $10,000 spending limit, all of that. So they start doing cuts. They come to her. First, they wanted her to undercut a brother who she trained. You can take his job and we'll get rid of him. And she was like, "Nah, I can't do that." So when she refused to do that, they hired a young white guy
Mhm.
out of college and wanted her to train him to take her job as they laid her off.
Right.
After all that,
Absolutely.
all those accolades that she had got while working there and
Yeah.
awards and all of that, and just
Uh-huh.
like that. So that's when we resolved that, okay, we could do this 9 to 5 thing and we could work for other people, but we also got to have our own businesses, like I was talking to you about the other day. And
Right.
so I understand, I got direct experience with what that brother experienced, you know,
Right.
so on an even
Yeah.
high scale, because my wife was making, and I mean she
Right.
still do because she moved on and she landed on her feet. But you know how we
Right.
do
Right.
at the
Right.
same time. She saw firsthand when they done using you up, they
Right.
they chew you up and they spit you out.
Right.
So
Exactly. And look at here. I got, man. There's so many examples of that. There was a good friend of the family, man. My old man, my dad, his best friend. He's a doctor. They did him the same way. He was working at this hospital. I forgot how many years, man. And they turned around and used him to train some young white people. And then once he got them trained and knew what they was doing and going, they came and told, oh man, we don't need you anymore. You know what I'm saying? Have a nice day. There was a sister that turned around and worked at US Bank. She I was, saying the sister actually was in the classes. She had this is when I want to say first came into the truth. I think I may have been in about a year, and this sister came in, and she was talking about getting her another job and this and that, and how sick of and tired she was for being the little black girl that answers the phone. You understand? Now she's trained, she's supervised, she's up there, but she said she knows how they treat her. That she's just a black girl that answers the phone. And I told her, I said, newsflash, you are the black girl that answers the phone. They don't give a damn about you. Like you said, once they done using you up, that's it. And that's the same with Vocab Malone. And of course they got rid of her. You understand? Once they was done using her up, once she trained enough white people, you know what I mean? Because who was running their businesses? Who knows how to run businesses better than us? You know what I mean? If it wasn't for us working their businesses, they wouldn't have any money. Now, who's going to do the job? Them ones that take smoke
Right.
breaks every 45 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to get the job done? Not at all.
Not
You
at
know.
all.
So that's the same with Vocab Malone. Man, once he used those brothers up, you know what I'm saying, and his sister, what did he do? He ran back to his people. You understand? Now he made a name for himself. You know, he dropped them and went back to them, went back to his people. And it's like how many times are we gonna fall for that? You understand? And when I'm saying we, I'm talking about the Christians that joined him. I'm not talking about anybody now at ISUPK. But how many times are our people gonna turn around and keep falling for the banana in the tailpipe and see that he is the devil? The word devil just simply means liar or deceiver. You understand? He's the greatest deceiver
If I
ever.
can, Cap, I'm gonna have you touch on something about that devil thing, but I want to hear from Officer Cabal real quick. And
Go ahead, brother.
you can see our brother Chris Harris, MVP Chris Harris, say this classic race bait. So, but I want to say this though. I noticed that Vocab Malone has systematically went from group to group.
Mm-hmm.
Kemetic brothers, Moors, NOI, five percenters. He done shows and presentations on all of this. He do little skits making fun of it and all of that. Now, things that if we did that to them, we'd be out of here. But he gets away with it. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
He got black people on there doing the same stuff with him. He's saying shit like coon and all of this stuff. So is it race baiting or is it just pointing out what's what? Go ahead, bro.
It's generally only called. See, this is only called race baiting when someone usually gets offended by the truth, because this is just a pattern of shown behaviors throughout the century. We compare exactly what they're doing now to what they've always done. As long as you're good to them, as long as you're good for their society, as long as you're building them up, then they have no problem with you. But when you start to go build your own communities and do for yourself, like Tulsa, Oklahoma, like Wilberforce, Ohio, like Rosewood, was that Georgia, Alabama? I can't remember. Like the city of Rosewood. When you start to build up your own and do for yourself, then there's a huge problem. The Black Panther program, the original one, right? Their spirit was in the right place. They were not gang members. They didn't terrorize anyone except for those who wish to terrorize our community. They built up our community, and that's all they were for and about was our people. And we see it was SNCC, everything that we do to build ourselves, they are ready to get rid of, tear down, and trash because it does not benefit them. So we see that today in smaller cases where it happens on your job. Like, again, every Black person has that story, right? I worked at a job for years, training store managers, I was training my bosses as they came in. I was qualified to, because this company that I worked for, they had online classes that you had to pass before you could get to certain levels, before you can get a promotion, right? I was qualified to be a store manager, but I was just a crew member. But I was training store managers. I was training district managers, right? But I was just a crew member. I couldn't even become a supervisor, a shift leader. I couldn't even become that, even though I was doing the work of everyone else and teaching them how to do it. I was doing, I was transferring, I was taking, items from one location to another location, transferring items between stores, things like that. Everything and anything the company wanted me to do. However, I couldn't get that promotion. And when I asked for one, and when I finally asked for one after about 3 or 4 years, I got it, and then they were ready to get rid of me as soon as because I asked for something of what I deserved.
How right? Dare you?
Right. The exact same thing that you were talking about that happened to your wife. I knew that growing up because that exact thing happened to my aunt. They had her train all of her replacements, then laid her off because she was making too much money, and they replaced her with younger white kids who had just got out of school. So she was making too much money, so they had to get rid of her because she was too good at her job. She had been there too long. She had been too loyal to them, so they had to get rid of her, right? We see this pattern, and pointing it out makes you the problem. That's where this race baiting. I'm just pointing out the facts of the world that I live in, and unapologetically so. Even in the Christian church, and we keep going back to this because the Christian church is so ingrained in Black society and Black culture that it's impossible to talk about us without talking about Christianity, right? You just can't do it. Like in the Christian church has a spirit of go along to get along, right? Just don't say nothing. Just pray about it, and you keep it to yourself, and just pray that it's going to change, and without actually speaking on the issue. Prophets in the Bible spoke. They spoke against empires. They spoke against kingdoms. This is the job of a prophet. They spoke against wicked kingdoms, right? The Christian church does not speak against America. It supports America. And we know America itself is a wicked kingdom. A city, the Bible says a city founded by blood shall not stand. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but this city, of course, biblically, city or city-states were also nations. Okay. So this city was built on blood. That's undeniable. That you can't kill 77 million of our Native American brothers and not say that this city was built on blood. And we get looked at as so radical for recounting history. That's it. That's what we do. We recount the history that you have done. And that's we just pointed out. I hope I don't get I'll make it PG. The term MF, right? You know where that term comes from. They used to make us, they put a bag over our heads. Absolutely. They used to make us have sex with our mothers because they were just breeding us. We were breeding stock.
Right. And if you were big and strong and your mother was big and strong, they bred you like a fucking animal.
Exactly.
So they could make another big and strong nigga. That's
exactly.
What it was. And but if we mention that, we race bait.
That's what I'm saying. We're pointing out they use us for their purposes, and then when they're done with us, they throw us away. We're just saying, how about we get away from all of them and we start depending on ourselves? Like you said, you can do your 9 to 5, but have your own to fall back on, right? have your own. We have to build. We have to be our own economy, right? We have to start depending on each other again, and regardless of the negative result that happens, right? Because they're going to try it again, right? The push movement happened in my lifetime, where they bombed Philadelphia, right? So I'm 34. I'm not that old. This is not that long ago. This is not ancient history, and we keep being told to forget this stuff. How? This happened to my brother. This happened to my sister. This happened to my grandmother. My great grandmother, she just passed a couple years ago. When she was born, Negroes were not allowed to have birth certificates. We don't know when her birth date actually was. She was born as a sharecropper in Quitman, Georgia, which is on half the cities in Georgia, half the cities in Florida. It's the southernmost part of Georgia you can get to. Right? She was married off at 12. She had my grandmother at 14. Okay? This is not ancient history. This is the people I grew up with. These are the people I love and know. Sorry, what was that?
No, I was saying that's the 20th century.
This is my lifetime. These are the people I've met. So when you say, "Oh, you wasn't a slave," my grandmother was. My grandfather was, and I know them and I love them. I love those slaves that you treated like that. The people who went through this, a lot of them are still here. They just had an interview with one of the last surviving members of Rosewood. Not Rosewood, Tulsa. Like this is not ancient history. We're saying what happened to us, and we want our people to recognize it and to pull away from everything dealing with these people, right? That's their way of living. That's their religions. We don't want to be a part of anything dealing with our slave master, right? And we got Christianity through slavery. That was the only way. We were forced into this. This isn't something that they presented to us. We reviewed it and then we decided to be Christians. That's not how that worked. You convert or you die or be castrated and raped in front of your children, right? This is how Christianity spreads throughout the earth. And not just here, everywhere Christianity goes. Missionary work is not how these people convert. Christianity converts you by the sword. That's it.
Right.
And once you're in, it becomes a generational curse that the Bible keeps speaking about. It perpetuates on itself, right? And this society is a Christian society. This country is a Christian country, right? And the craziest part is we've had this book, this Bible in our house, right? The Christian church doesn't teach you the Bible. The Christian church tells you, first off, not to understand the foundation of the Bible. They don't go into the Old Testament. All of that's done away with. But you have most Christians. When I was a Christian, before I left the Christian church, I was training to be a minister. My mother is an assistant pastor. I grew up in the church, right? My grandfather was a deacon. I was there opening the doors for Sunday school. Okay, this was not a casual thing to me. In fact, I'm pretty sure people might have already looked on my Facebook page. I was a founding member of a Christian fraternity at my college. I wasn't just a casual Christian, right? I did that. I debated people as a Christian. But the further and further I kept reading into the Bible, the more it did not align with what Christianity teaches, right? That's why there was a slave Bible, so they can teach you only what they want you to know. And our churches still teach the exact same way they always have in the Black community. More people have become more literate, but they still teach the same messages and the same sermons that their grandfathers were teaching who couldn't read. They're still teaching the same way. The Christian church after slavery should have had a massive change when we started being able to hold our own services without them in it. But it didn't. It stayed the same. It's the same as it was in slavery, with our oppressors sitting in there monitoring every word we said to make sure we said it the way they wanted us to say it, right? That is what we've grown up with. And that's why they took the physical chains off of us because they had us. They had us shackled with that religion. And that's what we've been dealing with, right? So now we read this book and we see what it actually says. We take line upon line, precept upon precept, and that's what the ISUPK has been doing since 1969. Now, of course, like we have briefly touched on the other night, the ISUPK comes from a line of from Abba Bivens, right? Abba Bivens was not a part of Crowdy's movement. He was not a part of those people who were blacks who started to join Jewish synagogues. He had nothing to do with them. He comes from completely different teaching, right? They got theirs they actually got theirs in New York where they started to learn, and then Crowdy, I think he got his in Oklahoma. Abba Bivens learned his from slaves who knew their history, who knew who they were. He was taught by people who were still continuing this legacy, this tradition, this teaching of the Bible, right? And then he came to New York, and then that's when he disseminated it to the seven heads, and that's where our teaching comes from. It does not come from the people who were mentioned on the show. It comes from an entirely different line and an entirely different way of getting it, right? Because you got to remember, slaves were still being brought in after they banned slavery, right? It's like they had to hide the slave ships. That's all. They were hiding them coming in.
People miss the fact that slavery got abolished everywhere, and America was still smuggling our ancestors in. But and then let me ask you this though, because I don't want to get
on that point that you said.
Go ahead.
On that point that you said, not only was it abolished everywhere, and they were still smuggling men here, it was abolished everywhere, and the United States Marines were fighting other countries who were trying to get slaves and trying to stop the slave trade while they were still allowing their slave ships through. If you ever heard the Marine Corps song "From the Halls of Montezuma to the Shores of Tripoli," that's talking about when they were fighting the slave trade in the foundations of the United States Marine Corps as a part of the Navy, right? Dang. But at the time, they were still having slaves come in this country. Slavery was still legal here,
right? And that's what's so trippy about it, because what we mentioned earlier, when they put the bags over our heads, etc., they started resorting to that because it got harder and harder to smuggle our people in. But let me jump back on topic, because we got some brothers in the chat that want to jump on and ask questions. So, do you think this thing with this European Vocab Malone, do you think he still got a superiority complex where he feel it's his job to tell black people what to do? Because while he focused on Hebrew Israelites, like I said, he's delved in the telling Kemetic brothers and sisters what to do. He's delved into the Nation of Islam, 5%ers, the Moors, etc. So he seems to have an obsession with spiritual movements in the black community for whatever reason. And the reason I say, is he the black spiritual community / conscious community version of Vlad TV, we see how Vlad appropriates our culture, gets black people to he surrounds himself with black people. They sort of co-sign him. He speak ill or brings other black people on to speak ill of other black people, and perpetuates that type of media, and that's his brand. Yeah. I feel like that's what Vocab Malone is doing in this arena. And I'm like, am I the only person that feel like this? But speak on that, and then I'm gonna let Cap go, and then I'm gonna start letting brothers come in.
Vocab Malone, he has the spirit of his ancestors. He has the spirit. He is your general white man, right? And then he's also supported in his community, right? First off, you see, he does not attack the Black Christian Church. He leaves the Black Christian Church alone. He's fine with them.
Right.
He attacks movements that are trying to separate
You don't
our
attack the
people.
white Christian church either.
Of course, he attacks movements that tries to separate our people from his system, right? As long as you get back in line, as long as you don't go out of line, he's fine with you. That's why the NFL hired him, because there were too many Hebrew Israelites popping up in locker rooms. People so they hired Vocab Malone to speak to the team chaplains to put that down, because they don't want us to pull from their system. And Christianity is a part of that system. They have no problem with you if you're a Christian. They don't. They leave you alone because you're in their system. That's what they want you to be. As soon as you're something they don't want you to be, then they have an issue. Now, and people don't understand and keep mixing up the two terms. Christianity, by definition, and by fact, and by reality and history, is an organization, a religion founded by the Roman Catholic Church under Constantine to unite his kingdom. It is not founded by Christ. The people in the Bible were called Christian. They were not calling themselves Christian. It was a name given to them, just like nigger is a name given to you now, just like wetback, spick. Those are names given to you. Those are not names that you give to yourself. And then over time, some of them started to internalize, just like we internalize the word nigga today, the same way, right? So Christianity as a system, as it was defined by the Romans in charge, is still doctrinally the same as it's always been. Yes, there have been some offshoots, but at its core, it's still what Constantine created to unify his country, his people, under one banner, because he was assimilating all these other people, right? It's their spirit. They want to be in control of everyone, and this is a part of their system. When you step out of their system for any reason, they want to bring you back, right? And they fight tooth and nail, and Vocab Malone is just one of the spearheads of that. That's all he is. He's a typical white man. That's it.
Yeah, because I just and listen, something makes my skin crawl about a European insinuating himself into what black people do. I don't care. I ain't gotta agree with what they doing, because we can critique ourselves. You don't agree with Kimmy, and you can tell me, brother, I don't agree with what you're doing. I cannot agree with ISUPK. And we can hash that out amongst ourselves.
Right.
But something about a European trying to check me on what I believe about myself and about whatever my spiritual invocation is makes my skin crawl. It just do. And then it makes my skin crawl even more when I see black brothers and sisters backing them up. And so it gives me, and I mean, I could be wrong, but it gives me a negative vibe.
When you have to say, and you have to agree and believe wholeheartedly that all people are the same, then to them, that would be irrelevant if you're black or white. It doesn't matter your culture, because in their religion or their belief, everybody's the same. So of course a white man can tell a black man what to do. There's no difference between the two. Now, when we try the same thing the other way around, it doesn't work out too well. Right. But when it's our oppressor telling us what to do and our oppressor ruling over us, we're all the same. Why are you treating him different? Because he's not a part of us. He doesn't share this experience. You're right. You're my brother, right? Whether we agree on doctrine or everything, at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure everybody in this comment section is my brothers, right? We can disagree all day. I have no problem having a discussion with my brothers on these issues. But for far too long, we've been including the other nations. We've been including everybody else. He don't have no seat at this table, right? This is for us. This is for black men to have conversation and to deal with each other and deal with issues in our community, right? That's completely separate, right? We can have these heated discussions, and I have no ill will or harsh feelings to anybody in here who's having these who has a differing opinion or differing view or think they know something better than I do. I have no problem with you. Now, if you're from another nation, I know from your track record what you have in store for me, and whatever advice you give me is going to lead me right there.
Exactly.
Right. This is what you do. This is what you've shown me you do
throughout history.
But I was gonna say, and it's I think it's Maya Angelou who had that saying, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. I'm just choosing to believe them.
Because we've seen on every continent on this planet what they've done to the indigenous people of this planet. So if when somebody show you who they are, believe them. So when I see him insinuate himself in our business, what am I supposed to think?
No.
Because when they insinuated themselves into our business before, what happened to us?
Mm-hmm.
Cap, go ahead, because we got B Wash in the back chat, and I want to go ahead and get him in so he can start dialogue.
Go ahead and get him in. My internet, my phone is I'm at this hotel now, and I don't have good range. It's going in and out. Can you hear me good?
I can hear you good, but if you can check, if you're at the hotel, check and see if they got Wi-Fi, and see if you can pick it up.
I'll do that.
All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and add the brother and mute you.
Go ahead, let's get it.
B Wash, you there?
What's the word? What's going on, brothers?
What's going on, brother? Peace. Welcome on.
Nah, man. Good evening. I'm just glad to see y'all alive and healthy. Blessed for another day, because somebody ain't had it that day. So, man, I'm just glad for y'all, everybody to be alive and healthy.
No doubt. Likewise.
Oh, good, man. But yeah, man, I'm just listening, checking the chat. I actually, surprisingly enough, even though I had some disagreements with the brother, I'm not too different on y'all when you talk about the premise of what you're talking about. Because of the history in this country and nationwide, I don't think and it's nothing against Vocab personally. Let me go ahead and say that. But I think for discussions in this realm, I think it's better in these cases to have a bit more in-house discussion, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. That's why I mess with you, B Wash. That's why. Listen, excuse my French. That's why I fuck with you, man. Go ahead.
You know, and again, it's not anything to say personally or even spiritually or his belief system. But I'm saying from a practical standpoint, is that because of the history in this country, and as you both stated, indigenous peoples in the world, that conversation cannot be led. Let me say that led by the groups that representative of the oppressive society. Like I saw, like the brother said, with the whole NFL thing, that's a big issue. I when I saw that a while back, I was like, I don't like that, because not because if they wanted to address the issue, but because if they wanted to, they could have put that investment into, say, a black Christian, right, who come from the same communities as these brothers, and then you can talk black man to black man, even if you have different ideologies, and have that discussion. But the moment that you put in money into someone else, you have already put up the walls in that case. Like, I can't even hear from you. It's kind of like, and then this is something like in the black community, in the Christian community, when the white mega churches typically come into the hood and try to give back to the hood and say, you basically telling black people in the community to come under white leadership. But we didn't have our traditional churches in our neighborhoods for almost 100 years. And you ain't never came into First Mount Zion Baptist Church or so-and-so Church of God in Christ or whatever AME church, like y'all ain't never invested no money and time into what's going on with the people in the neighborhood, but y'all come in and build, you know, flashy new world worship center with basketball courts and Starbucks and all kind of flashy stuff like that. But you don't even go and talk to the black pastors in the community about what's really going on and what needs they have. So it's kind of like, you know, why in this case, and again, it's not saying that your spiritual system in this case isn't off, but in this practical sense, it would be much better to have an in-house discussion about these specific issues. I think sometimes when you bring in outside people in these cases, the walls are so high up that like the brother said, and I want to is it Jagabal? I don't want to mess up your stuff, so please correct me if I'm incorrect. Cabal. Right. Like you said, like, you know, if I'm coming to talk to him as a black Christian, to a black Hebrew Israelite, that's a different conversation than say a vocab come and talk to him, because before vocab even speak to him, what he's saying is this white man telling him to come and he needs, and that his identity is wrong. And I may say the same thing, but say it differently and have it understand, like, brother, I understand what you're going through. I'm in the same people. I look at them same black and white photos of black men being tied up to a tree, burnt to a crisp, and I feel some type of way. I look at those same photos of seeing black pregnant women get hung from a tree and getting their stomach cut wide open and having their black baby die in front of them while they're taking their last breath. I feel that because that's my history too. I'm in it, and it's a certain connection that we're gonna have, even in our disagreement, that I think when you have outside people in, and that's the same way vice versa. You don't see me going to an Irish community, basically tell them, hey, get over the potato famine, right? Like, I don't, you don't see me going in their community because I can't connect to that history of their community. Only they people can. They really know and can talk about that. So I think in this case, like I said, to sum it up, I kind of understand, even in disagreement of like the historical part of what the brother was saying with Constantine and all that, and that's a different discussion we can have. That I just think when it comes to these conversations in this case, that it may be more fruitful for it be an in-house discussion, because you're dealing with a lot of pain, you're dealing with a lot of anxiety, and history tells us typically, in most cases, when non-black people get involved with black movements, it doesn't end out well for the black people at the end. And so, hey,
facts. And again, this is why I fuck with B Watch. We're gonna go to nobody, and then if you can make it as quick as you can, because we got MVP on the line, and I want to get back to Officer Cabal.
Man, I don't care nothing about Chris, bro. I'm gonna take as much time as Byron took. No, I'm just playing, man. Shout out to everybody. First off, shout out to the MVP.
Hold on, bro. Like,
I'm just playing, man. Go ahead, that's why I'm gonna do this first. Shout out to, I know he don't want to be called this no more, but I'm saying it out of gratitude. Shout out to the MVP, Chris Harris, man. Shout out to my bro, Washington, man. You know what's up with it. Shout out to Captain 10K and Cabal. Shout out to all y'all, man.
Officer Cabal. I call him Officer. Cut him up.
Officer Cabal. Officer Cabal. You know what I'm saying? I first want to say I'm from Texas, and the word Mother Effa come from Texas. The first recorded history of the word comes from a court case in Texas. That's the first recorded history that we have of it. Now, I know it probably has been said before that, but we don't have any record of that. And it does not come from what you brothers said that it comes from, with slave masters making us F our mothers.
What's
and
your
all
source?
that.
What's your source? Now go ahead.
I'll be checking. I sure will put it up for you. But anyway, I agree.
Real quick, nobody. I'm gonna go pay a water bill, so just make sure everybody get equal time if I ain't back.
All right, get your butt back, bro. All right. I want to say I agree and disagree with my brothers on. I agree worldly that people like Vocab Malone shouldn't come into our community for some of the reasons and others that you brothers have mentioned. Biblically and spiritually, I disagree with that. The Bible talks about exposing false teachers. If you are a brother in Christ and you believe in Christ, no matter what skin color you are, you have the right to expose the false doctrine, no matter who it is. I don't care where they're from. I don't care if they're Chinese or Russian. If they taking some in the Bible out of context or wrong or making heresy, you got a right to speak on that. I don't care what color you is. Me for example, I debate 7-day Adventists. That comes from Ellen G. White. That's a white lady. When I'm debating 7-day Adventists, nobody from that community tells me, oh, you can't debate me because you black, and that comes from a white person. I debate Jehovah's Witnesses. I debate Mormons and Joseph Smith believers. Nobody, those are white people. Because I'm black, I'm not debating them because of their skin color or the person who came up with the doctrine or who they decide to follow. I'm debating them, or I talk about their doctrine because it's false. It ain't have nothing to do with my skin color, nothing to do with their skin color. I don't care where it came from. Arianism and all that other stuff from the early first centuries and second centuries and third centuries and all that. I debate all that stuff. So I've yet to meet one person to tell me that, oh, you can't debate this because you're black. So I feel like it's hypocritical for Hebrew Israelites to sit up here and say because Vocab Malone is white, that, oh, because he's white, that he can't speak on false doctrine or whatever he sees as false doctrine in the same way that we get out here and speak on other false doctrine. We don't worry about the person's skin color. Just say, for example, ISUPK, when they speak on Christianity, they're speaking about all Christians. It don't matter if it's the black church, the white church, the Mexican church, whatever. Whoever follows Christianity, that's who they speak on. Nobody is sitting up here saying, well, oh, you can't talk about Christianity because y'all say it comes from Constantine and 325 from the Council of Nicaea. Those are white people. Nobody's saying that. So y'all don't have that same right to sit up here and say that can't nobody speak on y'all from a different skin color. And that's just being unhypocritical. You see what I'm saying? Even though I disagree that Christianity started in 325, even though we know the word Christian carries weight 280 something years before Constantine was ever thought about, before his daddy was ever thought about, before his daddy was ever thought about, we had Christians and Christianity on the scene from the first century in Rome and Africa and China and other places across that central area. So to say that it started in Rome and all that, that's a different conversation, as my brother Byron has said, so I don't want to get all into that. But just speaking on Vocab Malone, from my opinion, I agree with my brothers. I agree. Worldly, he shouldn't be able to come into a black community and speak the stuff that he's speaking based off the stuff that his ancestors did to our people. Spiritually, I 100% disagree with that. False doctrine is false doctrine, regardless of who's saying it and the skin color they come from. Go ahead, Chris, bro.
Hey, real quick, MD. Oh, yes. Oh, never mind. Go ahead, MD.
All right, we're gonna go to MVP Chris Harris, and then we'll jump to you, Cap.
No sweat, man.
Everybody else, mute your mic, please. You there, Chris?
Don't go to the tent. He probably walked away, bro.
All right, go ahead, Cap.
All right, I wanted to address what nobody just said. First off, if you agree but you disagree, you truly just don't agree. You disagree. You understand? You're confused. You accept white people, and that's where your confusion is coming from. If you were in the truth and you knew what the Bible said, then you would feel the way that we feel in the ISUPK, the men that actually serve the Lord. Cabal, give me Psalms 50 and 16. Read the scripture real quick. You understand? Because there is no two ways about doing this. You understand? There's only one way to actually serve God. You understand? And you're not doing it by accepting even the heathens. You understand? You cannot accept the heathens Because I believe you said nobody before. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you have said if a white person believes in Christ and he would be a Christian, and you would accept him, right? Is that true? Would he be your brother if a Christian said, "I believe in Jesus"? Would that be a
Yeah,
correct statement?
yeah, white
Oh,
people
oh,
and all people. Yeah.
okay, okay, I got you. I got you. So that's the thing right there. That is totally wrong. You understand? And I'm gonna show you what the Bible says real quick. Go ahead, Cabal, read that.
Salakia. The
Go
book
ahead,
of
brother.
Psalms, chapter 50, verse 16. But unto the wicked, God saith,
No,
what
unto
hast
the
thou?
wicked. Hold on 1 second, brother.
God,
Unto the wicked, God said, right? And who is the wicked? The Bible tells you who the wicked is. The Bible says that the earth was given into the hands of the wicked, meaning control, power, rulership. Who rules the earth? You understand? The so-called white man does. He rules the entire goddamn earth. If you don't give him what he wants, he kills you and takes it. You understand? And set up who has he has over what is it 165 military bases in other countries for what? Why is he based all in somebody else's damn country? Because the earth was given into his hands. He is the wicked that the earth was given, the power and control was given to. But this is what the Lord is about to say to the wicked. Go ahead.
what hast thou to do to declare my statutes?
Mm-hmm.
Or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth?
The Lord, see, you accept white people. Nobody. Chris Harris, I'm sure he accepts them. You understand? All you Christians alike, you accept the thing that God does not. You accept the people that God does not. God is saying this right here to the white man that you would say, if you say you're a Christian, then you're my brother. But spiritual, worldly, you agree, but spiritually, you disagree. That's because you confused, man. It's because you're a good slave. This is how slaves think. You actually don't think the way that God thinks. You understand? It's laid out in the Bible how we're supposed to be thinking. And we are not supposed to be thinking on how to join together with our oppressor. Look at how long we have been doing so. And it has not worked yet. Us trying to, you might have a good job. You might own a business. What does that mean? Nothing. Black people think because they done made it in the NFL or NBA or some sport or something that they turn around and white people are all right. They done gave me a job. I know a young brother that turned around and was on one of my in one of my classes. He said, "Man, y'all talking all that talk about white people, but white people are only somebody that ever been there for me. My own family did me wrong, and white people took me in, gave me a place to stay, and all this good stuff about white people." But that same brother turned right around once the white people started dogging him out, like I knew they would. He started posting status about posting statuses about white people, how wrong they are and how evil they are now. You understand? They are the wicked. And spiritually, you off like hell. You understand? Spiritually, you just believe in them. That's why you believe in them. When the Lord said, what are they even doing? What is Vocab Malone opening his mouth saying that he has the truth for and that he represents God and he knows the way? Why is he even doing that? When no white man has ever been a priest and a prophet of God. You go through them scriptures, the Old Testament, none of them are white. Now on the Jesus Walk movie, they white. And there's a scripture for that as well. On the Moses part in the Red Sea movie, they white. Hell, even the Egyptians is white on those movies. The Egyptians are white. Why? Because the white man inserts himself in all of the lies that he tells. But the Lord said unto the wicked, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? That's the point of what we were talking about. Because why, what you say, DMG, why does he insert himself in our business? In black people, insinuate it in black people's spirituality. Why is he trying to lead us? Why? Because he knows that you're a good goddamn slave. But the Lord don't accept him. The Lord does not accept him. All of the things that DMG and Officer Cabal just was breaking down about what they've done to us, how could you accept them? Knowing that my brothers used to get lynched and hung because some old white piece of trash tricked them into having sex with them. And then as soon as the white man find out, rape, I would never, just because of that, we're gonna set the law aside just for 1 second. Even though I follow the law, the reason I don't mess with white women is because of the law. But just 1 second, just to know that that's how they treated my brother. Why on earth would I go look for me a Britney Spears? You understand? To know that that's how a young boy was murdered.
Not Britney Spears, Cap. You could have said like a Kardashian or something. Somebody. Don't nobody know who Britney Spears is no more, man. We showing our age.
Hey, it's all good.
Let B Watch respond, Cap, and then we'll go to nobody, and then we'll jump back to Officer.
Okay, let me finish it up real quick.
Go ahead, finish it up.
But the point I was making, you know what I'm saying, is in the scripture it says this, where thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth. For those people to even say that they are the children of God, for Joel Osteen to claim he is a preacher of God, he understand is totally off. No prophet has ever been white, and they'll never be white. Those are false preachers. You understand? The same way every Christian, because the brother B. Wash said the same thing. You understand? He's saying that, oh, I'm with you on this one, but as far as Christianity go, why would you even be in their religion if you see how wrong these people have been treating us for all of these years? Why not take them and Christianity and throw it in the garbage? And let's see how far our people truly get. We could get further if we would come together the way the Lord said to in the Bible. But as long as we keep trusting in them, now we think we got the powerhouse team. You know, said the black woman, the so-called black woman and the white man. You understand? But nobody thought it was a true powerhouse when they so-called had a black couple in there. You understand? Nobody looks at a black man and a black woman as the powerhouse anymore. But it's the white man and the black woman who's not even a damn black woman. You understand? Now that they're in office, now we're going to start making moves. And guess what? Black people finna get food again. One more thing, and I'm going to let the brother go. Cat Williams has said when Barack Obama was in office, first niggas was excited. We was like, yeah, he finna get it. He finna change. The next time, I don't know what this nigga's in there doing. You understand? That's how we're going to be all over again. Keep trying to depend on white people. We're going to have our hopes up high. We're going to spend them stimulus checks. And then once the oppression kick back in, because it's kicking in already, even though Biden's so-called giving out stimulus, he turned around and now the oppression is starting all over again. So we got to turn around and separate from these people, man, like what the Lord said to him, Mike.
All right, Cap. I gotta do it. Go ahead, B. Watch. You there, Byron?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Indeed. Go in.
Cool, man. Yeah, I'm not too far off with, like I said, my brother Nobody. When I say that, I think we gotta make some qualifying distinctions. that's why I said what I said. In that, if you look at even within Christianity, I don't give white people that much credit when it comes to the foundations of Christianity or European. Um, like I know that it was black and brown people from the inception, based off the history of just a period. Like even if they come and co-opted some things later, nothing wrong with them learning the faith. Again, there's genuine people out there, but the expressions that we were exposed to here, if you look at history, I don't know what historic black churches tell you that they walk in line with you with white American Christians when it comes to their expression and understanding. So that's what I'm kind of like, for me, a little off. But um the reason why my premise is that not talking through vocab is that they vocab, in my opinion, shouldn't be the forefront go-to person for people to go to when it comes to wanting to deal with falsehoods within the community. Because, and I agree with nobody that we can speak against Jehovah's Witness, Mormonism, Seventh Day Adventists, but the issue is from a practical worldwide situation, at least in America situation, Mormons, Seventh Day Adventists never have collectively been the oppressors of black people in this country. Like they weren't advocating those things. Now, I'm not saying they weren't racist in those camps. I'm not saying that at all. They definitely got some racist tendencies in those specific camps. But when you have, again, your vocabs or others like that, to again, before we can even have a conversation, let them be. I have no problem. Let them play in the background. Let them help. If you want to really help serve those who are trying to be in the community and be at the forefront. If Joe Osteen want to do Joe Osteen, that's fine. But Joe Osteen can't go to uh South Oak Cliff, you know what I'm saying, and call himself trying to minister like like by himself, because people gonna have their guards up, because before he even get to say a word, people gonna be like, wait, hold on, what's your agenda, is that and third. So for me, that's kind of my statement. Again, the brothers, yeah, we gonna comes to the Christian faith. We're gonna disagree when it comes to his turn of people to prophet, because even biblically, the prophet is not, again, from a spiritual, that's from the spiritual side, but the big
Hey, bro, your mic
from
going
a
off.
premise, I don't have an issue with what you guys are saying. My bad. From a premise, I don't have an issue with what you guys are saying. I will say I don't disqualify anybody based off their race or anything like that. I don't do that off the grip. But what I'm saying is that due to this delicate, sensitive, and historical situation here, I think it's more prudent for the gospel, um, in general, to allow indigenous people to do so. And that's been the case throughout global Christian history too. So I'm not even talking about like something that's new. Africans minister to Africans, Europeans minister to Europeans primarily, Asians to Asians. So that's not nothing new for us. But I just don't think, again, the premise of your show is saying that I don't think vocab should be a leader in this movement, because of there's too many holdups before you even get to the spiritual side that could be easily broken down by simply having someone like Eric Mason leading, or Damon, or something like that.
Makes my skin crawl. All right. Hey, B, real quick, I don't mean to cut your wisdom. You going in and out, and I got MVP back. Chris, go ahead and go in. Did we lose him again?
No, I'm right here.
All right, go ahead, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody else mute your mic.
Yeah. Because it's a couple of things I wanted to address because Officer Kata, he said a couple of things. And first I want to say that I think the problem is here is it's not really Vocab Malone in the system. It's that you guys are failing when arguing with him. You guys aren't arguing with him correctly. What you all need to be addressing scholastically is his Calvinist doctrine that deals with manifest destiny. And once you begin to address that, you could then begin to pick him apart and let him, and that can serve as a reminder when he comes into the Black community that he's going to be put on notice. That Calvinist doctrine needs to get put on notice and put in check. He understands one thing when he comes into the so-called Black conscious community, and he understands that we are an emotional group of brothers, and he takes advantage of that. And he'll sit back and listen to every single doctrine, every single argument, every single complaint, and then he'll turn it right against you. And I notice one thing. When he deals with the Black Hebrew Israelites, and I'm saying that very loosely, he deals with you all according to your doctrine, and he asks you all about your doctrine according to the Bible. So the same questions need to be turned on him. And once you guys begin to turn those same questions on him, he'll begin to fall back and away. Because I was once a Torah-only Israelite, and we used to beat him up real bad, especially when dealing with John Calvin and the Calvinist Protestant movement. You know what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying, Officer Cabal? Am I saying your name right?
Yeah, you're saying it right. And yeah, I understand what you're saying. Don't worry, I'll get to that when I speak. I'll address it.
Okay, sweet. And one of the things you said that this nation was built on blood, was built by blood, which I would agree with. But I noticed how easy it was for you to call that out. But when we look at the conquest of Canaan, according to the biblical narrative, that too was built by blood with the slaughtering and the enslavement of the Canaanites. So if you can see that it's wrong here in America and you can rebuke that, then you should also rebuke what you see or what you read as being wrong also. Now, one of the things you guys would say is, well, that's what the biblical doctrine says, and we can make an argument about that anytime. That's what you guys will say. Well, God said do it, albeit there's no proof that we can prove that. It's just that we just believed it based on face value. But the fact is, if it's eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth, why wouldn't God just give them the land? Because at this point, the Canaanites had done nothing to them. I mean, the biblical doctrine says that the Canaanites worshiped other gods, but who's to know if they knew anything about Yahweh? Let's be honest about that. But then also it says in the biblical doctrine that one of the reasons why he hated the Canaanites for what they did, he says they even sacrificed their sons and their daughters. It clearly says that. He says, don't do what they do. But then in the New Testament doctrine, we get that the sacrifice of Jesus is a must. And in order to be saved, you must accept Jesus' sacrifice and accept him as your Lord and Savior. Now, I'm not trying to use this as a point of contention right now, but what I am doing is highlighting key points of your argument. And if you can see that it's wrong here in America, why aren't we adjudicating the same belief when we see it in our religious doctrines? Because we also have to begin to see that, hey, look, man, these doctrines have all been manipulated by man, because I can go into the Old Testament and show you what things that have been manipulated, and I can go into the New Testament and show you just as many things that have been manipulated. So I'm asking for some balance and some transparency here when I hear you gentlemen talk. Nothing more. I want to fall back and hopefully we could build on that conversation. But remember, when you argue with Vocab Malone, attack that racist Protestant Calvinist doctrine, and you guys can slaughter him. I did it maybe 8 years ago. Trust me, he didn't want that smoke no more when I was done with him. So I'm gonna let y'all rock out. I want to hear what you got to say.
All right. MVP, always coming with the fire. We got another brother that just came in. brother, introduce yourself. I call him the God body, but go on, introduce yourself, brother. Go in, and then we're gonna go to Officer Cabal.
All right, peace, everybody. How's everybody doing? You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, y'all all in good spirits and good minds. You know what I mean? Um, I go by the name of Yashmal Knowledge Born Allah, 5%er. Really, all religions I study,
Peace
Bible
to
and all
God.
that. So, I mean, I'm really just doing my thing. You know what I mean? And I learn as I give as I take. You know what I mean? I don't take more than I give. So, plan to just see what's going on tonight and see if I can get some knowledge and drop some. You know, it's always good to share and give. You know, give and receive always.
No doubt. So let me ask you a question before I go to Officer Cabal. What do you think when you see a European inserting himself or insinuating himself into what Black people are doing, believing about themselves and believing spiritually? In other words, when a Black man like yourself say the Black man is God, or a Black man like our brother Cabal say we are the children of the Most High, or when a Black man like me say I study the Kemetic spiritual tradition, etc., and then this European comes in and says, "Wait a minute, hold on, no, that's wrong. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. This is strange. Why are you doing this, etc." Again, this is a European insinuating himself into what we believe about ourselves and about spirituality. What's your take on that occurrence?
Well, I mean, first of all, like Brother Byron was saying, he was very well put. I mean, and you said, and the other brother too. Well, I don't know if the other brother agreed, but I would say that a Caucasian can't tell a Black person anything about their discussing amongst themselves, as well as we can't tell them something about what they're discussing about their race, their religion, their belief pattern, whatever. We can't have any type of injection on that because we are not the same. All right. I don't care what nobody has to say. It's been scientifically proven. It's proven to the eye of man. It's proven to them. You know what I mean? So I mean, if we haven't figured it out by now, then I mean, a lot of us will say that our eyes are open and we're conscious to this, we're conscious to that. Y'all are still sleeping basically because there's no comparison. There's no we're the same. No, we're not. Scientifically, we're not. Biologically, we're not. In the human form, as we are today, we're not. So, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, and say what I usually would say, which is the truth, is that we're genetically and biologically and physically stronger than they are. We're not recessive to much. We're very dominant in gene factor. We're dominant pretty much all the way around. I mean, no, they can't inject anything on any of our discussions about our race or how to change anything about it or make it better or do whatever. No, they can't. So, nah, and plus our history goes too far back for them anyway. Their history starts very, very shallow in the game. So, nah, no, you can't tell us anything, man. We the chosen ones. We don't have to believe it. We can feel some type of way when somebody says it. Oh, why you gonna say that white people human too? Well, hey, you say so. That's your word. I stick with
Now,
what
you
I
know you
believe,
about
bro.
you about to start something with that, but you
Hey,
know,
that's what I don't want to start nothing. I want to tell the truth. And if you as a Black person can't see, first of all, human factor wise, see the difference. And when we go into the scientifics of it and the biology of it, and we see that we are not the same, bro. We are not. So
so
I mean, any Black.
I'm gonna go to Officer Cabal, but I'm gonna come back and I got a question for you on that. So because
Okay.
I need you to explain something to me if we
Okay.
not the same. So real quick before I
hmm
move to the officer, are you saying we not the same species?
I'm not saying we aren't the
What
same
exactly what you're
species.
saying?
I'm not saying we aren't the same species.
Okay,
We're made the same.
okay, okay,
Slightly different,
okay,
but we're made the
okay.
same. But when, like I said, once you get into the biology of it and you go below the skin and the outside,
Yeah, but see, you still got some explaining to do though, bro. Cause
okay, I definitely.
you know, I was finna get on you, but
Okay,
but let me
we
let
go
me
there.
go to the
We
officer.
can go
Let
there.
me go to the officer, and I'm gonna get back to you, guy, buddy. I
Okay.
appreciate you jumping on,
Yes, sir.
officer.
All the time.
Officer, cut him up. What's your response to everything you heard, particularly what you heard from MVP Chris Hurd?
I'll get to his in just a moment. But first, I wanted to start off by saying all denominations of Christianity are founded by white people, except for the Kojic Church, which was founded by two Baptist ministers who followed a white man's doctrine, who liked another white man's doctrine, the Wesleyan doctrine, and wanted to combine it. That's where the Kojic Church comes from. So it was founded by black men based on white men's doctrine. And this is why we keep saying give them back everything that's theirs. That's their doctrine, all of it. All of everything learned in the Christian church was their doctrine, right? And so that's one of the reasons what I was talking about. I'll get to addressing his Calvinism. His Calvinism, yes, it's an issue. And we attack, of course, we attack different types of denominations based on the things that are wrong with them. So generally, I do attack Calvinists on their Calvinist doctrine. I attack Lutherans on their Lutheran doctrine, Catholics on whatever your doctrine is. There's massive errors and holes because it is not according to the Bible. And then Vocab, a person like Vocab, and our oppressor has shown that they're not capable of coming into our organizations or into our movements and playing a supporting role, right? They have to take the lead. It is in them. That's innate. That's what their nature is. They're going to take over. So we just say don't bring them in at all. Leave them and their doctrine to themselves, right? And I like the brother was saying, we're not equal. We're not the same. They even have what's called the magical Negro theory. Have you ever heard of it? See, this is why black people are the magical Negro theory. So basically, they play it out in their movies. They know that we are built different. We're stronger than them. We're faster. We're bigger. We're smarter. If you leave us alone, we excel and go beyond them in every category that you can mention. And when he was saying something about, us being different, well, God made us different, right? I'm gonna get to two things. First, I'm gonna look at where we at. Deuteronomy 14 and 2, right? It says, "For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself, above all nations that are on the earth." We are created above all nations that are on the earth. Every type of man on the earth, the Most High God has said he created us to be better than them. Then we go to Isaiah, the 40th chapter and the 15th verse. "Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he hath taken up the isles as a very little thing." All the things that they are is very little to the Most High God. Skip down to verse 17. "All nations before him are counted as nothing, and they are counted to him as less than nothing and vanity." Their face, their facade, their covering. There's nothing to them. They are support. God created them to support, to do the work, while Israel was created to rule. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans were created different. We built different. We can survive things that they could never fathom going through in their life. The Holocaust was tragic and devastating for them for 6 years. 10 years at most, if you want to talk about some of the lead up. They could never there would be no white people if they went through the slavery we went through. They can't handle a bad day on the stock market. They jumping out of windows. Niggas get evicted every other week. Like, we not the same, right? And us including them, for us to include them, we have to diminish ourselves, because to say we're equal to something that is inferior means we have to diminish ourselves. And for them to get us to say we're equal to them makes them superior, because they've taken something greater than them and brought it down to their level, right? This is why we reject everything that is a part of their culture and a part of their society, which includes their religion, which, again, all of their religion, all the Christian denominations and their doctrine was created by our oppressors. So that is not, we can't include them. We just can't. It's not, we've tried. It's not like we haven't, right? Our people have tried to include these people, and I mean any other nation. Our people are this is why the Most High built us to rule, because we are the most gracious and accepting people on the planet. We've shown that you can beat us like dogs and we'll still love you. Our oppressor can't do that. That's why they have no right to rule. That is the quality of a ruler. To be able to deal with your subjects, even when they treat you wrong, to not go to their level, right? We take the high ground every time. And we're simply saying, stop dealing with them at all, so we don't have to deal with that. We can't put them in our groups, because when they're involved and we're trying to build ourselves up, they're always going to take from it, right? And like the captain was saying, like, these other nations, they don't even have the right to speak the words of the Most High God. The Bible also says that the prophets are of Israel. It says the saints are the children of Israel. This is not, in fact, it says that the patience in the faith of the saints is that these oppressors is going to go under the same oppression they put us under. That's the patience and faith of saints. That's why we don't agree with Christianity, because they don't look for that. Reparations is a biblical concept. They did it to us, so we're going to do it to them. But we're going to do it under the direction of the Most High. We're not going to rape their women. They're going to work for us. They're going to be our servants. They're going to be in servitude to us, just as we were in servitude to them. That doesn't mean we have to be wicked or vicious, right? But they cannot be included in this, because our building, I don't know where people get the ideal of equality. Equality does not exist anywhere. Equality does not exist in nature. There's a hierarchy. Equality does not exist in the country. There's a hierarchy. You cannot run anything if everything is on an even plane. You have to have someone in lead and then people that follow. There is a hierarchy.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
So, excuse me. I didn't mean to cut your wisdom, but I did let you go. So,
You good?
I'm going to let everybody respond.
Go ahead.
And try to keep it to like 1 or 2 minutes, and I ain't doing that to be biased or nothing like that. I just gotta wrap it up. And no, you good, bro. That was on me. I just happened to look at the time. I gotta go grab my daughter in about 20 minutes. But
gotcha.
I want everybody to respond, including Cap. And like I say, try to keep it to 2 or 3 minutes. And but you know, give your full response as much as you possibly can. And just respond to what our brother said, and kind of give your final remark on Europeans sort of critiquing what it is we do as Black people, spiritually, identity-wise, etc. We're gonna start with MVP Chris Harris.
I ain't get to go, but go ahead.
Oh, my bad, bro. My bad. We're gonna go to you soon as MVP get done. You there? MVP, you there? I think our brother stepped away. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, yeah, man. I just wanted to say, when Cap took his turn and he read from, I think that was the book of Job, chapter 9, where it says the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He made that seem as if it was talking about just white people or something like that, because when you go down to verse 29, then Job turns around and says, if I be wicked, why then labor I in vain? So this is Job letting you know that even he can be wicked, which I believe that they would agree that Job is a black person, you know, of course. So if he can be wicked, somebody being wicked is not based on their skin color. It's definitely not based on, that text is definitely not based on a 21st century Western mind frame. Secondly, I want to say, of course, we know what white people did, them being oppressor and all that, but for him to try to pull that from the Bible because of what happened during slavery would be faulty. And the reason why I say that is because the Bible says that the Israelites were going to sell themselves into slavery. The Bible says because of what they did that would go into slavery. But when you hear the rhetoric that seems to be spewed from these type of conversations, they make it seem as if they were kidnapped and stolen and taken and went into slavery from the biblical view, not from what actually happened in America. And we know them talking about from the biblical view. So from the biblical view, it's not the white man's fault that black people went into slavery, according to that doctrine. The Israelites went into slavery because of what they did to God, not because the white man would be just fulfilling what God gave his role to be when the black people went into slavery because of what they did. So how could they blame the white man for doing what God told them to do? That wouldn't make any sense. So anyway, I don't have the same strife against white people that they have, as Cap made clear, and I'm proud of that. No, I have no problem with white people who are, you know, honest and you know, good character, all that good stuff. I do have a problem with racist white people. I have a problem with white people who support white supremacy and all that. You can go watch several videos on this channel and see the type of white people that I do have a problem with. I don't have a problem with white people as in my brothers and sisters in Christ, those who believe in God the right way and follow the scriptures the right way. So when it comes to Vocab Malone, I disagree with Calvinism. Not everything in Calvinism. I disagree with their predestination, as in everything is set up because man don't have free will to do what they want. I disagree with that part of their doctrine, but I don't disagree with every single thing. Just some, you know, little things here and there. But that stuff ain't got nothing to do with salvation or whatever. So when it comes to vocab, again, I would say it would be hypocritical for a person to say that we are able to critique other people of other nations and other skin colors and all that, but then feel some type of way when they trying to critique other people just based on doctrine. Has nothing to do with if you're black, you're white, or any of that. Brother Vocab gave the reason why he do what he do in this community is because he said that he grew up like us. You know, he grew up in the same neighborhoods, listened to the same music, around the same stuff, pretty much has the same worldview as some of us have. So if I stay somewhere that you stay and I see the same things that you see, hey, why wouldn't I address what I see? You know, like, for example, I don't even know no Jehovah's Witnesses and all that stuff in real life. I just know them online or whatever. But all the other stuff, the black people and Hebrew Israelites and all that, yeah, we see them in the neighborhood. I have Mexicans in my neighborhood. I have white people in my neighborhood. I know white kids who go to my son's school. I know Mexican kids who go to my son's school, listen to the same music, wear the same clothes, do the same stuff. Their worldview would be just like my son coming from the area that they're coming from. So biblically speaking, if I am a Christian and I know what doctrine is, or even just have a disagreement with a doctrine, it's nothing wrong with me addressing a doctrine that I'm familiar with or used to hearing all the time. That has nothing to do with racism, and it would be a flat out lie to accuse somebody of being racist just because they are addressing biblical doctrine.
I didn't say he was a racist one time.
Oh, okay. I mean, well, I don't even outside of racism, even to say that a person has no right to address something because of their skin color. If 1 + 1 = 2, and if I hear a person saying 1 + 1 = 3, okay, well,
we ain't say nothing about math.
Okay. Well, okay, I ain't got to bring up math then. I'll bring up words, then I'll bring up letters. If I hear a person saying that B comes before A inside the alphabet,
Why
I
you
don't care
bringing
if
up
they
the
black, white, or
alphabet?
mixed.
What is
Okay,
this?
well,
Is this first grade?
no, that's what y'all making it seem like. It's like I
No,
gotta
it's
take it
not.
back to
No, we're
first
not.
grade to get an understanding.
Talking about
Okay, okay. Well,
whether a European has the
it don't
right
matter what's
to
the one
insinuate
plus one equals
themselves
two, bro. If
into the
somebody's saying
business
one
of
plus
black
one
people.
equals three, it don't matter
Why
who's
are
bro.
you
Let me
bringing
give.
up? You bringing
Can you
up
go? Can you
first
go after I
grade
get my
math
point
and
out?
first grade
Yeah,
alphabet lessons?
that's the
When
level that we
I'm
seem to
talking
be on.
about whether a
Now, first
European
grade
has
math
the
and
right
first
to
grade alphabet
insinuate
seems to
himself
be the type
into
of level
our
that we
business.
on when it comes to
He
this
has
conversation, bro.
his own issues
What
that
does
he
that
can
have to
address.
do? What does that have to do with truth,
Go
bro?
address
What does that have to
the
do with something being true or
predators.
false?
Go
What
address
does that
Mormons and they
what does
racist
that have to do?
ideology. Go
What
tell
does that
Mormons
have to do with
that
something
black
being true or
skin ain't
false?
the mark of Cain. Why you
Bro,
worried about what we
why
do?
we talking over each other, bro? Come on now, bro. Answer my question, bro.
All right,
What does
man,
that have to
I'm
do
gonna
with
mute
something?
my mic. I just don't
Okay,
understand.
well, mute your mic. Okay, well,
You
mute your
seem
mic.
like you defending this dude,
No,
man.
mute your mic. Call it what you want to. Mute your mic and answer my
Hold
question.
on, man.
What
No,
does,
so is you checking me?
you said you was gonna mute your mic,
Right.
bro.
So if I say I'm gonna mute my mic, what you saying it for?
Because I'm telling you, go ahead and do it.
Hold on.
But don't fall off the
If I
subject.
say
Don't
I'm
fall
gonna
off the
do it,
subject.
why I need you to tell me to do it?
Don't try to change subject, bro. Now you're trying to
Hold
switch two
on, bro.
subjects.
You
If
doing too much, bro.
somebody is saying something
You
that's
doing
true,
too much. You doing
now
too much, man.
if somebody is saying something
Hey,
that's
bro,
true,
go
why
on,
do it
finish
matter
up
if
so
they
we can
black
go.
or white?
Finish up so we can go to the.
I want you to answer this question. I want you to answer this.
I'm
I
gonna
want you
mute
to
my
answer this
mic,
question.
man. I'm gonna mute my
All
mic.
right, mute your mic.
I'm not doing nothing that's gonna
Come
support a
on, bro. You
white
said you
boy
were gonna mute
coming
your
to
mic.
tell
Mute
me
your
and
mic.
my people what we can and can't do, and what we
I ain't
can
saying what you
and
can and
can't
can't
believe.
do. I ain't saying what you can and can't believe. All right, now answer this question. When it comes to anybody, if something is true, why do it matter what skin color you are, bro? Come on, Piankhi, answer that. If something is true, why do it matter what skin color you are?
Bro, I'm not. I don't have nothing to say in support of a European coming to tell
I ain't
black
asked
people
you
what
that.
they can and can't do.
I ain't asked you that.
Can I ask a question, DMG?
Go ahead, bro. Hold on, real quick. Let me make sure my little bro finish.
No. I wanted to ask him something to add on to what
Go ahead.
what he just asked. What is it that white people have told us that's the truth?
No, first off, can I get my question answered on this, and then I will answer your question, bro. I just want to know
I'm gonna answer that.
Because I asked my question first.
Hold on.
I never got my question. No, wait. Wait.
Let me explain.
Hello, bro. You can tell me why you said, bro. You can tell me why you said that when I answered your question. You can tell me why you said that when I answered your question.
Hold on, real quick.
Let me explain why I asked you that.
I don't need you to explain it to me until I answer your question.
Everybody muted.
Come on, man.
Cap. What we gonna do? We gonna let little bro finish, and then we gonna move to you and Officer Cabal, because again, I gotta go pick up my daughter, so I gotta wrap it up. Go ahead.
All right, that's cool. I just want this question answered, and Piankhi, you or Cap can answer this, and it's a simple answer, bro. If something is true, why does it matter what skin color a person is? I just want to know that.
You asking me that?
I'm asking you or Cap. If something is true, why does it matter what skin color a person is?
Because in this context, when we look at the history of this planet, Europeans have insinuated themselves into the business of black people too much and to the detriment of black people. So whatever we believe, whatever we think, whatever we feel, we can sort that out for ourselves at this point. Because whenever they've inserted themselves, there's been a negative outcome for us. So I don't have the luxury or the time to try to say what's true and what ain't true. Because anytime I've interacted with these people as it relates to what I believe about myself, my culture, etc., I've come out on the low end of the totem pole. So I
Okay,
don't
simple answer.
need,
Simple
hold
answer.
on, hold on. I ain't finished. I don't need
Go ahead.
their opinion of what I believe and what I think. Me and my people can sort that out for ourselves. Period.
Okay. Okay. Now notice you said opinion. I said if something is true,
Again,
why does it matter where it come from?
Truth
I'm talking about
is a
truth.
matter of
Absolute truth.
opinion.
I ain't talking
Because
about opinion.
just
I'm not
because
talking
he
about
says
opinion,
true,
bro.
just because
Piankhi,
he says true
stop
don't
playing.
mean it's true.
Stop playing. I didn't say what who said was true. I said if something is true, I ain't talking about no opinions. 1 + 1 = 2. That's why I said that at first. If something is true, answer my question, bro. I don't want to hear no rhetoric. I don't want to
I
hear no
just answered your
filibuster.
question. I
No,
just
you
answered
didn't,
your
bro.
question.
Okay,
I
okay,
just
so
answered your question.
okay. So you don't have an answer for my question. So again,
Okay,
that
let
goes
me
back to what I. Okay, hold on, no, wait,
let me
bro,
say it like this. Let me say hold on,
bro. You just said you answered it. You said you answered it. That's
hold on.
all.
I gotta freeze you now.
Now you
Because
just got chin check. You got
here it
chin check. That's what happened.
Oh, I got
That's what
chin
happened.
check.
That's what happened. That's
You
what
funny,
happened.
bro. You funny. Check this out. So you want me to give you a definitive
No,
yes or
I
no?
want an honest answer. Real talk. I want an honest answer, bro.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep it 100%
If
with
stuff,
you.
okay, I'll rephrase the question.
100% with you.
Listen to me. I'll rephrase the question.
Hold
If
on.
something is true, if something is true, you hear me?
Hold on.
If it is true, why
Can I
does it
talk or
matter
not?
what skin color a person is?
Can I talk or not? Skin color do
Well,
matter.
no, I'm just saying the question again so we can hear what I'm saying. If something is true, I'm not talking about opinion. If something is true, why does it matter what skin color the information is coming from? If it's true, is what I'm saying. That's all I'm asking.
I'm just gonna before I get my answer, I'm gonna read what my brother Melvin Jefferson said. He said even if something is agreed upon is true, right? A thief knows killing is wrong, but he's still a thief. Like even
What they got to do with anything, bro?
listen, man, check this out. A European has no moral standing to tell a black man what is true on any level. Period.
Okay,
So
so that's your answer.
he
Okay, I
can't
got
even enter the conversation.
I got you, bro. Okay, keep it short. I got you. I want everybody else to go too. I got you, man. Keep it short, bro. I got you. So you saying it don't matter what skin color a person is? I got you, bro. I got you, bro. I got you. Let me finish my time. So what you're saying is, even though if something is true, even though if a black person sitting around saying 1 + 1 = 16, and another person from another culture, different skin color, say 1 + 1 = 2, you would rather walk around. You would rather walk around. You would rather walk around thinking 1 + 1 = 16 rather than take the advice of somebody
Hold
else.
on. Can I respond?
No.
Can I
You
respond?
already gave your spiel, bro. Come on, bro.
Respond? So you gonna say
It wasn't your
something to me,
goal. You
and
already
you expect
went.
me to respond?
You already
That would be
went, bro.
good.
You
That
just
would be
said your
that would
piece,
be
bro.
cool if you was
brother,
talking about
You
the
said your
truth.
piece, bro.
I'm gonna say
Come on,
this.
bro.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm done.
So you knew
If
what you
my-
said to make no sense.
if-
That's why you
hold
want to
on,
clean it up. Clean it up. Clean it up.
I'm
Nah,
about
that would be a good
to freeze.
analogy only if it was true.
I'm
Only
about
if
to
that was
freeze.
true.
If my brother says 1 + 1 = 16, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put my arm around my brother and tell him 1 + 1 = 2. Because I don't care what the European says, he has no grounds to enter the conversation with me. Period. Because the European can come and say 1 + 1 = 2 while he's stabbing me in the goddamn back.
Right.
That's their doctrine. They
Right.
was taught that
And,
doctrine.
and what I would say to that, DMG, is what you said is me and my brother can figure it out. You understand? I would
Right.
rather work that out with my brother, you understand, than another nation of
And I
people.
wouldn't do
See, Christians,
it.
Christians are the greatest slaves to ever live.
Mm,
You understand?
mm.
Because how on earth none of these other people think like him? The white man don't think like him. The Chinese man don't think like him. Ain't nobody trying to come together with black people like that. Like he's saying, well, if another person says that, 1 + 1 is 2, and we say it's 16, then you wouldn't believe the Chinese man. You wouldn't believe the white man. You wouldn't believe. None of them are think that way, and none of them are trying to join together with us. Even though black people cook the best fried damn chicken in the world, do the Chinese people hire niggas to fry their chicken? No, they do not, because they stick together with their own people. You understand? And it's gonna take for us to think that same way, to where my brother might be wrong. He might think 1 + 1 is 16. I'm gonna work it out with him and say, come on, bro, let us do this and let us build. Not trying to build with the other, make an excuse why to be a slave up under another damn people. That's all that is.
Yeah,
That's
real quick.
All. Go ahead, brother.
Real quick. Who all want to stay on for a minute? Because I can let nobody run the show, and I'll go ahead and grab my daughter.
I only got about 13%, but yeah, I can run it until I go off.
Okay. Everybody want to stay on for a minute, or
I want to hear what Chris got to say. I want to hear what Chris got to say about how they fit, what y'all said about if something is true. Y'all rather, however long it may take, 10, 20, 50, 100 years, rather than just accept that 1 + 1 is 2 from another person is going to do. I want to hear what Chris got to say.
I think he might be froze, but if he back, it's all good. So, bro, listen. My daughter says she's going to be off in like 15 minutes. So what I'm going to do, if I got to jump off, I'm going to let you run the show. Just give everybody equal time. If your phone dies, everybody just keep going till I get back. That's how we going to hold it
down. Yeah. I bros can hold it down. So, Cap got it.
All right, I'm going to mute my mic. Go ahead and finish, Cap.
Yeah, like I was saying.
When Cap get done, we're going to go to Officer Cabal.
Okay. Yeah, like I was saying, that's a slave way of thinking. And you just added a little more to say, well, if you do it with your brother, it's gonna take 200-300 years. That's ridiculous, man. You are showing that you love your oppressor more than you love yourself and your own people. Who the hell said it's gonna take us 200-300 years to do anything? When we came straight out of slavery, we passed the white man by 1,000 goddamn years in just 40 or 50. In just 40 or 50 years, we surpassed them by 1,000 and was doing way greater than them and way better than them. And that's the problem. That's why white people gave us this Christianity that we serve today. Well, when I say we, I'm talking about our people, black people. Nobody that you serve today. You understand? It have you thinking like you are a slave, brother, and you don't even realize it, and you don't even see it. You don't even see it.
I'm gonna say that, bro. Chop, I'm gonna cut you off. I'm gonna cut you off. I just want to say this. It had nothing to really do with if a person was white or Chinese or whatever, because notice I named other nations. The thing was on truth. I said if something was true, why does it matter what nation it comes from? So what you said had nothing to do with nothing. Just I'm a slave to the truth. Hold on, wait. I'm a slave to the truth. And the truth is Jesus Christ. So I have no problem being a slave. I'm a slave to the truth all day. So what you saying is, like I said, you rather wait. And I didn't say 200, 300. I started 90, 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever. However long it is. I don't care if it's 2 days. I don't care if it's 2 hours. If you with your brothers and y'all got something wrong, y'all saying 1 + 1 is 16. And somebody come to y'all and say, hey, my bad, man. Hey, 1 + 1 not 16. 1 + 1 is 2. You mean to tell me that you're going to wait until you figure it out rather than go see if what this person saying is true? Because it's true. Why ain't talking about no skin color? It don't have nothing to do with me being no slave to no skin color. It's a slave to the truth. So my bad. I didn't mean to say it for that long.
No, it's all good, brother. Because you actually not a slave to Christ. You understand? You're a slave to the devil. And the devil is a so-called white man. And how you became a slave is because you took on his religion. You understand? That's why you're steady trying to make excuses. Do you think white people come to you to try to figure anything out?
They do.
White people come to you to figure out anything?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
What do they come to you to figure out?
I can name several things. Back when I was doing music, I had white people to come to me to write their hooks, to make their beats,
Wait,
to make
okay,
their
hold on,
drums.
hold on,
Hold on, wait.
before
Now that I'm
let
in
me stop
Christ,
you right there. Let
hold
me
up.
cut
Now
you
that
off
I'm in,
real quick.
now that I'm in
Hold
Christ,
on,
hold
wait.
up. Hold up, wait, bro.
Okay,
You asked me a question. Let me ask you a question.
go ahead.
Now that I'm in Christ, now that I'm in Christ, I have white ministers all the time asking me to come be a part of their podcast, come be a part of their ministry. Can I teach them about certain doctrines? Can I show them about certain groups such as the Black Hebrew Israelites, who they are not really knowledgeable about or don't know what they teach and all that? Right now, I'm at work. I'm a security officer. I deal with white people 6 days a week. People ask me for help all the time who are white people. So yes, I help white people all the time. So that debunks what you was going to say. Go ahead.
Okay, and it really does not, because when it comes to, you say you write music, who writes all the
Used to.
music anyway? Who invented? White people love rock and roll. Who invented it? You understand? So
Yeah.
you're not
Opera
making.
came from Africa.
You said what? You said who?
Opera came from Africa.
You said I didn't
Hey,
hear.
nobody. When you get a chance, I gotta respond back, but I'm just waiting my turn.
Okay, but
Somebody said, Captain, somebody said Africans from Africa made music. That's what they were saying.
okay,
No, I
what's
said
this?
opera music came from Africa.
Oh,
The opera
he
music, the
said
opera they always singing,
opera music.
oh, that came from Africa.
Oh, he said the opera music come from Africa.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Um,
Shit.
Go ahead, Cap.
okay,
Yeah, go
like what
ahead.
I was saying, and we'll get to that too. Um, like I said, I mean, who makes the music? Who makes the beats? You understand? Who? Matter of fact,
I do.
white people are now choreographers. But who did they get it from? They're not good at it. But who did they get it from? They got it from
Mm-hmm.
us. You
Right.
understand?
So why?
So it's not like they came to you to try to figure anything out. They came to you to steal from you. You understand?
Yep.
They
Yep.
stole every single thing. I mean, you've seen different movies, right? To where they've stolen different music, like Elvis Presley for once. Almost all of his music was stolen. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? So I mean, I don't see why you use that. And then when you say they come to you and ask you about the Israelites, they only asking you to do that so that they can use you against your own people. You don't even see that. You think
Now
that
I
they
believe.
are. You
A
think
lot
that
of Elvis music came
you
from Little
think that
Richard.
they are saying to you that, oh man, you're such a knowledgeable guy. You really
Yeah.
know about Hebrew Israelites and the Lord and Jesus Christ. Come show me this, and so I can be a better person.
No, no,
That's
no,
not
no, no.
what they
But you,
doing.
Question, brother 10K.
You
but you
understand
asked me.
Hold
what
on,
they
nobody.
are
No,
doing?
I got
What
you, Cap. But you asked me to show you where
I did,
those people come to ask me for
I
help.
didn't
Hold on,
take
hold
away
on,
from what you said, but I'm just breaking it
no,
down now and
no,
letting you know
you did.
what you said was not proof of them coming to you
No,
and
no, hold on,
asking you
wait.
anything. You
No,
said you do
Cap,
Hold
security.
on one
wait,
second.
Cap,
Can I ask a question?
hold on, wait, Cap, everybody, wait, Cap, my phone finna go dead, bro. I got about 3%, bro. You take over the show, bro. If after my phone die. But I just wanna address what you said though. You asked me to name
I
things
did.
that I
I
teach
did.
other people, right? And then when I named them, what you did was cut them down. But what I did was
No,
disprove what you said. You said I can't.
no.
Hold on, wait. You said that I can't name nothing that I helped those people with. I named 3 different categories
That,
where those people come to me and ask me.
brother,
All you did was
them
gave me.
stealing your
All you
music
did
is
was gave
not
me
you
a reason
helping
why you
them.
disagree with that.
Them stealing your music is not you helping them, bro.
Stealing,
That's why I
bro. If
said
somebody pay, if somebody
that's
pay me
what
for something, it's not
no
stealing, bro.
no no understand what
So
I'm
that's
saying.
Hey,
wrong.
You
That's
saying
wrong,
that
bro.
when I'm
Listen.
saying when I'm saying
Listen.
pay you for, oh, go ahead, brother. What you say?
Check it out. I know this spirited, but I want to announce. So for those who forgot, me and Captain 10K gonna be doing another simulcast tomorrow. Sharpen your sword. Did I say? Is that the name of the show?
Yeah,
Did I
that's
get that?
it.
Sharpen your
Hold
sword,
on,
radio.
Piankhi. I heard that y'all got a debate coming up, like on the 20 something, and from what I heard, Captain gonna kill you, bro.
That's
This,
funny.
this hey
Oh
hey
That's
man.
hey
funny.
hey nobody. The same way I killed you.
That's for so
The
check it
same
out.
way.
Hey,
Check it out.
hey,
So
PM. Come on, man.
tomorrow, 11:30 a.m.
No, it's
Central
11.
Time. We're gonna do another simulcast. Sharpen Your Sword Radio, Paradigm Shift TV 314. We doing a show. Cap, tell them the name of the show, and then I want to get real quick, as quick as you can. I want to go to Captain Cabal, and then I want to get Byron in. I want everybody to close out because I got a jet, and I'm gonna go ahead and end the show. So,
Yeah, no
Cap,
sweat, no sweat.
what's the name of that show we doing tomorrow?
It's Sharpen the Sword Radio is going down. It's actually at 11. Start at 11 a.m. going to 1 p.m. Or we might end up going over because these discussions right here, I'm sure that all the brothers that's on here now is going to call in tomorrow. And that way we can do the same thing. You know what I mean? And shoot live. And we'll have a decent dialogue. So tune in tomorrow, Sharpen the Sword Radio, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. or until, and we're going to get it in again. And the discussion is going to be about Christianity, whether it's either true or false religion. You understand? So every brother that's on here now is more than welcome to call in and give their opinion or their version or whatever they can come with best, and we'll see if it stands the test.
Damn right.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Captain. I'm Captain. Future Captain, current officer,
Damn right.
Cabal, aka Officer Cut 'em Up.
Damn right.
Go ahead and close out for the people, if you will.
Damn right. All right. So again, we when we say, first off, I want to address the last thing nobody was talking about, right? It goes back to us saying, consider the source, right? Here's the thing. Everything from you is poison. I'm not going to take, even if you tell me the truth, I'm not going to accept it because everything you've given me is poison. So I consider the source before I take any information in, which is how you do anything scholastically, especially. You have to look at the source because we know all published documentation isn't always true. We have to look at their motives behind it because every person has a motive, right? So even if somebody from another nation came and gave me an answer and that answer was true, I may not believe it because of the source, right? You lied. It's the boy who cried wolf. You lie so much, everything that comes out of your mouth, I'm going to believe is a lie. And then when we were talking, when he was talking about we shouldn't be blaming, white people for our enslavement, we should be blaming ourselves. Partially that is true, but the treatment they gave us during our enslavement, that is what we blame them for. It's one thing to capture a people and have them work for you. That's one thing. That you don't have to castrate them. You don't have to burn them. You don't have to do the things that were done to us. And the Bible exactly talks about these people doing that same thing. I'm going to just read these verses real quick. Ezekiel 35:5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by force of the sword in the time of their calamity and the time their iniquity had an end. See, it didn't have to be this way. You didn't have to. They've had a perpetual hatred from the establishment of them as a people until this present day. It never ends. Their hatred for us will not stop, period. The Most High created them that way. And this monster that we're facing is because of what we've done. And so for us to correct ourselves is the only way to get out of the situation. But what they did is unexcusable. It was not for us to be treated in this manner, but the prophet saw it. And then I'm going to even hop down to the end of that chapter, the verse 15. As thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel. They glory and revel in stealing and taking everything that we have. Whether it's our people, whether it's our music, they took our name, our culture, our heritage. They take everything from us and they enjoy it. They live, they rejoice in it, right? Because it was desolate. So I will do unto thee, thou shalt be desolate. Oh, Mount Seir. This is directly talking about white people, the Edomites. and all Idumea, again, the Edomites, even all of it, and they shall know that I am the Lord. See, the Most High God is mad at them. The Most High God said they should not have treated us this way. Yes, we were supposed to be their captives. Yes, we were supposed to serve them because we refused to serve the Most High. But the way they treated us was beyond the pale, right? So we don't trust these people. This kingdom is wicked, and if you say anything otherwise, you're joined to them, and you will burn with them. Why? Because that is the fate of all wickedness. The Most High will burn it, and you love America because Christianity forces you to. Christianity is America. America is a melting pot, just like Christianity, right? Everybody's supposed to get together and join. That's not how it works. That's not how the Most High God set it up. He separated us for a reason, right? So us joining them and us being with them is against God. Us accepting them is against God. Why? Because we're not supposed to be joined to them. To be holy is to be separate. We are a holy nation, a separate people. Having them join us, having them in our movements is disgusting, and it's an abomination to the Most High God.
That's all I'm saying. Listen, man, Brother Byron Washington, it's on you.
I agree with the brother.
Cool. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Cool, man. Well, I mean, first I want to start off because I've been listening, and I want to be somewhat sympathetic and understanding where we get it truth at, right? And so, from a practical standpoint, it's always difficult to understand truth in the midst of moral falsehoods. So, if someone is castrating you, hanging you, enslaving you, it is difficult, but not impossible, to find truth. Well, our ancestors did find truth, and they spoke on those things throughout slavery and beyond, of what they deemed as a false religion of the oppressor and the true religion. And the reason why I say that is because we were just talking about, like, all, music, for example. Like the brothers talked about Elvis Presley. And if anybody wants to study history of rock and roll, well, you wouldn't start with Elvis Presley. You would start with Little Richard and the Black brothers before him. And even further than that, if you want to start with even further than that in the music industry, you would go back to blues, right? The foundation, the most Black people. So, but it's difficult for me when and no disrespect to the ISUPK brothers, but when you start with Christianity and just begin with Western white people, like, I gotta look at you. I gotta kind of look at it side-eye, because if you look at pretty much all the denominations, Roman Catholicism, Anglicanism, Methodism, all these people, their foundation comes from African minds. No. You look at somebody like the brother earlier was talking about John Wesley when it comes to Methodism, right? But you study John Wesley, his two primary foundations were two Africans, in which he studied for his foundation, who African Christians. We have African Christians when it comes to Christianity that's been on the continent since the beginning. And so for me, it's like when I see European and white people, that in order for them, they had to go back and study the Africans and Black people foundationally for the faith. And what they did is, of course, we know the things they co-opted and things that they brought out. But for us, talking myself and Brother Nobody, who are professed Christians on here, and DMG, for me, I go back and study African Christianity. Like, why? Like, I don't need to go back to study Europeans and Western Europeans and stuff. I go back to the source, to the foundations and what they believed and what they practiced. And I did think about, looked at it. Like Nobody, I disagree with Calvinism for a number of different things. But Christianity doesn't start with Calvinism. John Calvin took writings from African church fathers and interpret them as so be it. So if I'm gonna go back at it, I'm not gonna go study John Calvin. I'm gonna go study the foundation of the faith and see what they did and look at their practices. And so that's why I don't give those people who profess to be Christians but are not that much credit when I can just do for myself, especially in this day and age, and go back to study the foundations. Like, and again, I'm not gonna disrespect Nubian Christians, Ethiopian Christians, North African Christians, and these people that's writing in the first, second, and third centuries. For me, like I can't do that because I know the foundational writings, what they came up with, and the ideologies and all these different things that we say today that we don't even realize that we assume we get from white people. But again, that's like us saying Elvis Presley invented rock and roll. Why would I say that?
When we know it was Chuck Berry.
Yeah, I'll go to Chuck Berry. Why would I go to Justin Timberlake as the king of pop, but not go to Michael Jackson and James Brown ahead of it? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I say this? Why would I go to them when I can go to the foundations of the faith? You know, country music. Why would I go to white people for Western country music when I can go back to the blues when it was really the real blues of the foundation of the faith? So for me, I don't have to go to these other expressions. I go to the foundations and read and see when it comes to Christianity what's true and what's not true and what's the appropriate such. And I see, honestly, if you look in today, a number of Black Christians are going back to the sources because of we have education, we have the tools to do so. So that's my standpoint, is that let's do that. But I want to say this: discussions like this is what we have in house. So even in our disagreements, we got different brothers. We have these discussions in house and we build from there. I think the premise is, again, when you have people from outside in, it prevents these discussions because we so focused on, and rightfully so, we will focus on the ills of what the representative of the oppressors are at, to say, well, hold, like let's have back. Now you tell me you got John Browns coming in here. All right, we can have that discussion. Shout out to the John Browns. But I don't think we having John Browns right now. We've been not too many of them to my knowledge. And so if that's the case in these discussions, let's have that and build on the truth up in house, not because of if somebody else from a different hue believes the same spiritually as me, but because I know to hold up to my brothers for the gospel, for the truth, then I will talk to you on the level that understand. It makes no sense to me to go talk to you brothers about what was going on in the Anglican Church and Roman Catholicism. Why would I do that? But if I go to Morocco, look, bro, this was going on in North Africa with Tertullian, with Athanasius, with Origen, with Shenouda, with all these Black African Christians in the first through fourth centuries, then it's a better conversation to have than me telling you what Pope John Paul II was saying. You know what I'm saying?
We gonna get a chance to continue this tomorrow, because me, Cap, and Officer Cabal gonna be going on live 11 a.m. Central Time. But I want to get the MVP and the guy body because I gotta go. So MVP, get some finishing statements as quickly as you can, because I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, you know what? Thanks for letting me on. We'll probably deal with. It'll probably be best if I just do a lesson on this. But the undertone that I keep hearing from the undertones that I'm hearing is the truth, the truth, the truth. Many times I hear people saying the truth, the truth, the truth, and Christianity was Africa first before anything else. I'm hearing a misunderstanding of history. And if you're going to talk about Christianity being in Africa, you must understand ontologically what it was before it became Christianity. So if you're going to use words such as the truth or the truth of the truth, please understand what Christianity was before the Serapian cults came into Africa. Before it was before Agathens and the rest of the Roman psychology and the the Greeks came in. So we got to understand church history. Christianity at its inception, as we see it today, is not African it's not African at all. Yes, we have some African. You know what? Just let me do a what's it called on this. This is simple. I'll do a lesson on this if you invite me on the show tomorrow, and I'll just
absolutely. Let's do it tomorrow evening.
Yes, sir.
Just let me know what time.
Okay, cool.
All right. God body, real quick. Closing remarks. You there? Y'all don't think the brother there, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and kick him off. Listen, I'm gonna close out. Brothers, everybody that came on, I appreciate it. ISUPK St. Louis, as always, salute Brother Byron Washington. As I said, I fuck with you. So, Captain 10K, you already know what it is.
Yeah, right.
Officer Cut 'em Up, Officer Cabal, future Captain Cabal, you know what it is. I appreciate everybody coming on, speaking their speech. I think we pretty much, as far as those who remain, we're in agreement. I understand what my little brother Nobody was saying. I just feel like it's conversations that they should have amongst themselves and get their house in order. And it's conversations we need to have amongst ourselves and get our house in order. That's their business. I remember looking at Boys in the Hood, right? For those who old enough to remember that movie. And when Trey went off because they killed his friend, when he came home, his father said, Trey, I'm sorry for what happened to your friend, but that's their problem. You, my problem. We are our problem. And we got to look out for each other as black men and women, because ain't nobody else looking out for us. Let them take care of themselves. Let them sort out their problems. If he want to critique a spiritual tradition, he can critique the Mormons, the preterists, the Puritan, whatever spiritual inclination he wants to. Evangelicals, they got a lot to say about what black people do. Let him go critique that. Calvinism, whatever. But let us deal with us, period. And that's my take. So I appreciate everybody coming on. Hotel, shalom, peace. That's Paradigm Shift TV 314. We out of here.
Yeah, right, brother. Shalom.
Yeah, right.